Chapter 4 HUMINT Operations Planning and Management 4.1 HUMINT operations planning and management are supported by a robust structure that includes staff elements such as the C2X when working, with non-U.S. forces at the Joint Intelligence Staff level, G2X at the Division, Corps Intelligence Staff, the HUMINT Operations Section in the MI Battalion, and HAT in the Division and Corps ACE. It also includes C2 elements at the MI Battalion, company, platoon, and team levels. The OMT provides the first level of staff and C2 functions when two or more HCTs deploy in support of an operation. See Table 4:1. 4:3. Human planning defines collection objectives, when to collect it, and which resources will be tasked to do the collection. Commanders with human collection assets in their units receive collection tasking based on requirements developed during ISR planning. The commander and staff, in concert with their supporting OMTs, assess the requirements and task the team or teams best capable of answering the requirement based on contact, placement, and access. 4.4. Another aspect to consider carefully during the plan phase of the operational cycle is technical control. Technical control is ensuring adherence to existing policies and regulations, providing information and guidance of a technical nature, and supervising the MOS-specific TTP required in 6 September 2006 4-1 FM-2 2243 RKRONA, conducting collection missions. Planning must take into account that technical control does not interfere with or supersede any C2 that a commander has over an asset or unit, nor does it interfere with collection of the commander's requirements. For HUMINT collectors, the technical control network includes the CJGS2X, the HOC, and OMTs. Technical control includes the management of source and other sensitive data and databases, the management of intelligence contingency and incentive funds, the liaison with other HUMINT organizations, and the deconfliction of operations. Technical control provides HCTs with specific requirements and data that they need to conduct operations and, in certain circumstances, specific instructions on how to execute missions. Prepare 4 or 5. During this phase, commanders and staff, including HUMINT management sections, review HUMINT mission plans. This review is to ensure all areas of the mission are considered and addressed in the plan and included in rehearsals. Items to cover include but are not limited to route, primary, and alternate, communications, security plan, convoy procedures including actions on contact and rally points. Initial requirements to be covered, mission duration, 4 to 6. The HUMINT collector then researches the topic area addressing the requirement and prepares a questioning plan. The HCTs and OMTs must coordinate all mission requirements. It is important that HUMINT elements are included in all rehearsals conducted by their supported unit. These rehearsals will enable HCTs to carry out essential coordination with other units and ensure that they are included in and familiar with procedures such as resupply, communications, casualty evacuation, fire support, and fratricide avoidance. Rehearsals and briefbacks will allow the supported command to see and correct problems with their support to the HUMINT elements prior to deployment. Execute 4 to 7. Mission execution consists of the collection of information in accordance with the integrated ISR plan, the requirement, and prepares a questioning plan. The HCTs and OMTs must coordinate all mission requirements. It is important that HUMINT elements are included in all rehearsals conducted by their supported unit. These rehearsals will enable HCTs to carry out essential coordination with other units and ensure that they are included in and familiar with procedures such as resupply, communications, casualty evacuation, fire support, and fratricide avoidance. Rehearsals and briefbacks will allow the supported command to see and correct problems with their support to the HUMINT elements prior to deployment. Execute 4 to 7. Mission execution consists of the collection of information in accordance with the integrated ISR plan. The requirements manager validates the requirements based on command guidance. The G3 tasks the requirements to the units and the individual asset managers, that is OMT, to identify the assets best capable to answer the requirement. When requirements are levied against a specific HCT, the HCT leader decides which of his team's contacts can best answer the requirements. He then turns the requirement into specific team tasks. SS 4.8. Assessment is the continuous monitoring throughout planning, preparation, and execution of the current situation and progress of another at 6 September 2064-2. Reparation OFRM 222.3, operation, and the evaluation of it against criteria of success to make decisions and adjustments. Assessment plays an integral role in all aspects of the intelligence process. See FM-2 HUMINT Command and Control 4 to 9. Commanders of organizations that conduct HUMINT operations are responsible for task organization, mission tasking, execution, mission accomplishment, and designation of subordinate AOs within the guidelines of the OPORT or OPLAN. ME unit commanders who exercise direct control of human operations, including interrogation operations at all levels, are responsible for and stand accountable to ensure human collection activities comply with this manual and applicable law and policy. Applicable law and policy include U.S. law, the law of war, relevant international law, relevant directives including DoD Directive 3115-09, DoD Intelligence, Interrogations, Detainee Debriefings, and Tactical Questioning, DoD Directive 232-1-1E, the Department of Defense Detainee Program, DoD Instructions, and Military Execute Orders, including FRAGOs. The MI unit commanders must ensure mission accomplishment by properly allocating resources and logistics in support of all human collection assets assigned to their units. Commanders must ensure that their human collection personnel are trained and ready for the mission. There is a need for a partnership between the JG2X, who exercises technical direction and oversight responsibility, and the MI commander, who exercises direct command authority and responsibility. The MI unit commander analyzes the higher headquarters mission, concept of operations, and the specified and implied tasks given to his unit. He restates the unit mission, designs the concept of operations, task organizes his assets, and provides support to subordinate units. Specifically, the MI unit commander issues mission orders with sufficient details and time for subordinate commanders and leaders to plan and lead their units, must know the threat, his organization, ISR systems, counter-ISR systems, operations, and terrain over which his units will operate, and how that terrain enhances or limits human collection operations. Must be aware of the operational and technical limitations of his unit, and ensures that all assets are task organized, properly positioned, and fully synchronized to accomplish the mission. Oversees the collective and individual training within his unit, coordinates continuously with the higher headquarters staff, the supported maneuver unit staff, and other commanders to ensure integrated RS operations and support, establishes clear, consistent standards and guidance for current and future operations in order to adhere to policy and the higher headquarters commander's intent without his constant personal supervision, continually assesses his unit's ability to sustain its internal operations and its ability to support assigned missions, and keeps the higher headquarters staff informed of unit, equipment, and personnel status that affect collection operations. 6 September 2006 43 FM 222.3 operation operations and operation FM 222.3. The action given to the supported force as a whole rather than to a particular subdivision thereof. The action that units render each other against an enemy because of their assigned tasks, their position relative to each other and to the enemy, and their inherent capabilities. A mission requiring a force to support another specific force and authorizing it to answer directly the supported force's request for assistance. The action of the supporting force against targets or objectives that are sufficiently near the supported force as to require detailed integration or coordination of the supporting action with fire, movement, or other actions of the supported force. FM 222.3 to row per hourage NESAM table 4-4. Joint support categories from FM 3-0, derived from JP 0-2 and JP 3-0. DVLAP Human Requirements 417. The first step in the RM process is to develop intelligence requirements that accurately identify and prioritize the commander's concerns about the threat and the battlefield environment that must be resolved to accomplish the mission. The G2-S2X or his representative normally supports the G2-S2 by identifying human collection requirements and opportunities and advises the command and staff on human capabilities. The human representative must be able to discuss any delays or risks involved in using human assets. Through participation in the requirements development process, the human representative has a thorough understanding of the commander's intent and concept of operations and is better able to support the overall ISR effort. 418. The analysis of human requirements is normally a coordinated effort between the human and CI staff officer, CJG-S2X, and the HAT of the supporting analysis element. The CJG-S2X team records all human requirements, whether generated internally, specific orders, or received from other echelons or units requests. Tracks each requirement from receipt to final satisfaction. Reviews each requirement for its feasibility. Feasibility is a determination if a requirement can be answered given available time and resources. Completeness. Does the requirement contain all the specifics needed for collection, such as what the collection requirement is, when the latest time information is of value, LTOV, why it needs to be collected, who needs the results of the collection, necessity. The CJG-S2X team, with the assistance of the HAT, checks available intelligence databases to determine if they're required. 6 September 2064 Day 8. Referempo FM 2222. Information has already been collected or is included in an intelligence product. 4 Day 19. The RM team, with the assistance of the CJG-S2X team and the HAT, breaks the human-related PIR into CEF-RRs. Each SAR describes the indicator of threat activity linked to an area or specific location and time. The HOC evaluate reportable criteria that are linked to the threat activity. The HOC associates these characteristics with a SAR and compares the characteristics to a particular human asset's capability to collect. Range, which is the distance from the current location of the human asset or resource to the source. In other words, are there sources available that had or have access to relevant information on the area or activity in question, and can the human team contact them in a timely manner? Timeliness, which is when the information must reach the commander to be of value, that is, the LTIOV 420. The RM team, supported by the CJG-S2X and the HAT, attempts to answer the SIRs with intelligence products developed from information available within the existing intelligence databases or pulled from other organizations within the intelligence architecture. If the requirement can be answered in this manner, the intelligence is immediately disseminated when the required information is neither available nor extractable from archived information or from lower, lateral, or higher echelons. The CJG-S2X team develops it into an RFI to hire or an ISR tasking for organic or attached human assets. The compilation of unanswered requirements and how to answer them form the basis of the ISR plan. The tasking may be in the form of an SDR. An SDR is a specific request or tasking for a collector to question a source on a particular collection. Requirement. This request involves analysis that results in the conclusion that a specific source possibly has the placement and access to answer a SFIR. SDRs are specific, whereas human collection requirements HCRs are general. Develop the human portion of the integrated ISR plan. 421. The HOC within the CJG-S2X section assists the G3G2 in developing the human portion of the ISR plan in coordination with the HAT and the RM team. The OC ensures that the human capabilities and taskings are included in the plan, although the plan often will not contain the specifics of human operations due to the sensitivity of the sources and techniques. The HOC will coordinate with the Office of the SJA to ensure the human portion of the Integrated ISR Plan 421. The HOC within the CJGS2X section assists the G3G2 in developing the human portion of the ISR plan in coordination with the HAT and the RM team. The OC ensures that the human capabilities and taskings are included in the plan, although the plan often will not contain the specifics of human operations due to the sensitivity of the sources and techniques. The OC will coordinate with the Office of the SJA to ensure the human portion of the Integrated ISR Plan complies with applicable law and policy prior to its implementation. Applicable law and policy include U.S. law, the law of war, relevant international law, relevant directives including DoD Directive 315-9 DoD intelligence interrogations, detainee debriefings, and tactical questioning. DoD Directive 2310 THRISC HEN will quote it in the plan, although the plan often will not contain the specifics of human operations due to the sensitivity of the sources and techniques. The HOC will coordinate with the Office of the SJA to ensure the human portion of the Integrated ISR Plan complies with applicable law and policy prior to its implementation. Applicable law and policy include U.S. law, the law of war, relevant international law, relevant directives including DoD Directive 301-15/09, DoD intelligence interrogations, detainee debriefings, and tactical questioning, DoD Directive 2310-1E, the Department of Defense detainee program, DoD instructions, and military execute orders, including FRAGOS, a September 2064 ANANT, FM 2002-23 determine assets and resources, and
determine asset with
accurately to
this this